Hi, I'm Steve, and welcome to the podcast Stuff with Steve. And we're going to talk about some stuff today that is going to be quite interesting, and we'll see where all this goes here in a minute. We're going to talk about Satanism.
Yay!
Yay, okay. And because the topic was brought up to me by Taylor, our sound engineer, hey, let's talk about Satanism. So I've been putting this off because I've realized that there's old Satanism and new Satanism. And I'm acquainted with old Satanism, but apparently there's some new stuff out there about Satanists. and I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And so we're going to, Kaleea will take the lead on that. So we'll have stuff with Kaleea and some stuff with Steve today. So old Satanism is basically people worshiping a being, a person, the devil. And biblically speaking, when we talk about the devil, we're talking about that an angel from heaven who becomes prideful. And the book of Ezekiel, Isaiah 14, says that he became selfish and prideful, and God kicked him out of heaven for being evil. I'm shortening it, paraphrasing it. Don't send me letters. And Satan falls to earth, and he prowls around like a roaring lion trying to devour people. And then he took a bunch of angels with him, and those are the demons.
Right.
And then throughout history, we have people worshiping the actual devil. And they would do things like have their own devil-worshiping services. And it's been documented that there's been human sacrifices and just that kind of evil.
Yeah.
And then there are certain symbols that are associated with, like pentagrams and so forth. That
Upside down cross.
The horns, the goat head kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Snakes.
Yeah, serpents.
Snakes are evil. Don't like snakes, but that's another topic. And so that's kind of the old, I guess what I'm learning is that's kind of the old school Satanists.
Yeah.
And Anton LaVey was a famous Satanist in the 70s out of the hippie movement in San Francisco.
And he wrote the Satanic Bible,
yes.
right? Yes. Okay.
Impressive. Yeah. Yeah. And he's on his picture's on an AC/DC album. See, you probably didn't know that because you're not old enough.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's in the window. Anyway, so that's kind of the old one. But I'm under the impression there's something new out there that's very different.
Well, let me ask you this. Is Satanism different than Luciferianism, or is it the same? Because I've heard people say, I'm a Luciferian. I don't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I was just wondering. And then also, would you equivalate Satanism and what people were doing in the Old Testament, like sacrificing their children to Baal or Moloch or other idols? Yeah.
I think that kind of idol worship, Satan was involved.
Right.
It's a demonic thing.
Yeah, so maybe they didn't realize that they were worshiping Satan.
Right.
But
sure.
Yeah.
And then we have divination, witchcraft and divination, which is strongly opposed in the Old Testament. I think the someone who practiced divination was supposed to be put to death.
Yeah.
It was really serious.
Yeah.
And so that was viewed as a demonic thing as well.
Yeah.
King Saul entered into that. It's part of the reason why his kingdom was ripped from him, right? He was disobedient to God, didn't believe God, but then he tried to correct that in all the wrong ways by going to a spiritist to talk to Samuel, the dumbest thing in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like today there's a lot of people who are proud to be witches or like involved in witchcraft or tarot card readings or spiritualism, which I guess is separate from Satanism.
So a friend of mine goes into, side story, in Pike's Market in downtown Seattle, he goes into a tarot reading shop.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
I know, and he's a pastor, and this person's telling him his fortune, and he says to her, where do you get your power from? What a question.
Yeah.
And she goes, are you a Christian?
Oh.
She was perceptive enough to go, oh, he's probably.
Yeah, interesting.
Why would somebody ask that question? Yeah. So tarot reading cards, what's the game you play?
Ouija
boards.
Yeah.
Stay away.
Crystals. Stay away from the crystals, guys, please.
Yeah. Stay away from that stuff. The basis of those things are demonic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
totally.
is. You're searching for power from something that isn't God. So that's antichrist. But so Satanism in my modern context are people who believe in what Satan stood for, but don't necessarily believe in Satan, the entity. So you'll actually come across people who consider themselves Satanists who actually don't believe that Satan is real, let alone God, let alone Jesus. They just believe that he's a symbol of freedom and rebellion and doing what you want to do. So in short, Satanism is really about satisfying your flesh and living life the way that you want to live life, which a lot of people are doing and don't call themselves Satanists. So it's really people who idolize the symbol of who Satan was, but don't necessarily believe in him, the being, the entity.
Okay, so is this like saying I like the philosophy or the way of life of Satanism, but I don't see myself as actually worshiping the devil?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
I mean, I don't even think they would use the word worship at all. They would just say, yeah, I respect the philosophy of Satan. It's like if you were to read a storybook and you were super inspired by a character in the book, and then you based like your lifestyle off of that character. So
give me that definition of new Satanism, because you're my new Satanism expert.
I love that. So I would say it is a lifestyle in which you perch up the symbol of Satan the symbol, to fulfill your flesh. Your lifestyle is about satisfying your flesh, and you do so because you are inspired by the symbol of Satan.
This sounds like hedonism to me, which is the philosophy of I want to do everything to make myself happy.
Interesting.
A hedonist is all for my own selfish, hedonistic, my own pleasure. I think that's what the Latin term means. So philosophers like Bacon, a couple hundred years ago, talked about hedonism.
Interesting.
Doesn't it sound like?
Yeah, it does sound super similar. So, are there any moral implications with the hedonists? Like, do they? Well, yeah. They draw the line somewhere, right? They don't.
I think they have a wavy line, or a dashed line.
Okay.
It's not much of a line.
Okay.
If it makes me feel good, just do it.
Right. Yeah, that's what I wonder about Satanists, because I've seen people say, like, we give to humanitarian society and we love animals, and so they have some kind of morale, but it could never be consistent, right? If you're always seeking to satisfy your flesh, or the people around you are always seeking to satisfy their flesh, and there's no God in the center that centers people. So I think that's interesting.
So I was just reading Alexander Solzhenitsyn yesterday. Sorry. I know, I'm weird. So, and he said he was arrested and thrown in the gulags in Russia, and he won the Nobel Prize, and finally gets released, political prisoner. But he said the whole problem with communism and socialism was that they forgot there was a God. Right. They forgot there was a God. Yeah, that's pretty significant. And it seems like this whole Satanism old and Satanism new is maybe different, that the old Satanists would say, well, there is a God. I'm just going with Satan.
Yeah, correct.
A new Satanist would say there's maybe neither. I don't care about either.
Yeah.
I'm just in it for me.
I am my own God.
I am my own God.
Correct.
Oh. So are they closer to Hindus? Because if you think about a Hindu, you're becoming a god.
Yeah.
You're going to be reincarnated.
Maybe so. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the trend right now, is to be your own god, so that you can justify everything that you do. Back to the divination and the crystals and the witchcraft and the tarot cards, everybody's searching for a source of power so that they can use that for their own influence.
Okay, let me ask you about people today, and they talk about Wiccans and witches and white witches and black witches, or good witches and
dark
bad witches.
Yeah.
So how prevalent is that in culture today? I mean, you're a social media person. You see what's going on.
Yeah. Sometimes I'm going through my TikTok and I'll fall into a TikTok live. That's where people are live streaming, and it'll be people doing tarot cards. cards or doing like palm reading. So honestly, it's everywhere. Like some people built their entire social media platform off of being a witch and doing tarot. It's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah,
huh?
it's everywhere.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I'm uninformed.
Yeah, there's even a store downtown, Passion Flower, and they sell like tarot cards and little witchy trinkets. It's interesting.
Have you gone in there?
Yeah, because they have cute stuff. It's not all witchy, but there is some stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's so odd that that's in a boutique and that people are like buying that stuff. Mm-hmm.
Did you buy something?
What have I gotten from there? I've gotten fake tattoos, and I got a jumpsuit from there.
Okay, well, maybe that was too much information. I don't know. Well, okay, and Devin went in there with you?
Yeah, it's like a cute gift shop. I recommend.
Did he
stay
go in
away
there
from the
voluntarily?
witchy stuff. Yes, because they have men's stuff too. They have like soaps, they have organic soaps and lotions and jewelry. Passion Flower. Maybe we shouldn't be promoting this place.
Let's move on. Okay, we're going to move on at this point. Okay, so what do we do to reach people who are in that category? What are some of your kind of thoughts here?
Well, I think that we share the gospel truth, which is that Jesus is the Son of God, and he came for everybody, including those people. And I think we really have to awaken people to the problem of evil so they realize why they need a Jesus and why what they're doing isn't okay. I don't think people really realize how dark this world is, or maybe even how dark what they're doing is. So showing them light, I think, and allowing that to expose truth is how we do it.
Yeah. Okay. And you know what? I think that's the way to reach the old Satanists too.
Exactly.
And, so it feels like as we're talking about this, that maybe there's a different variety of philosophy out there that's changed some, but the solution is still the same.
It's still Jesus.
Right. And we have to have, I'm guessing, personal relationships with people to have those conversations to begin with.
Yeah. Don't be afraid of people either. Just go talk to people who seem and look different and believe differently than you.
So if I walk up to somebody, are you a Satanist? Is that a good opening line?
No.
No. Okay. I didn't think it would be.
Absolutely not. No, just talk to people.
Okay.
And then when it comes up, share Jesus. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, great. Well, hey, this has been an unusual podcast because we are talking about Satanism. And I just, all of a sudden, I remembered that I have this doctrinal statement, and it says Satan is a personality. And people go, what's that?
Yeah.
And I go, well, it doesn't mean it's like the Force, like Star Wars, but Satan is a real person.
Yeah.
That actually God created.
A being.
An angelic being that fell out of heaven.
Yeah.
And so there is a reality even behind the new Satanism. There's something behind that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, good. All right. Well, this was our podcast for today, Stuff with Steve. But we wish you better things. Grace and peace be with you, and we will catch you next time.
Bye.